They're champs. Ever since Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford moved from 147 to 154, it did two things. It left the 147-pound division without much competition, and it made the 154-pound division one of the most dangerous divisions that there is, even more dangerous than it already was. But all the top 10 level fighters are very dangerous, and the top 10 could actually be the number one, and that's how the 154-pound division is right now. But that's neither here or there. But today we are not gonna be talking about my favorite division at the moment, the 154-pound division. We are gonna be talking about the 147-pound division. And now I believe this division does lack a lot of talent, even though overall around all the years from boxing, it is still my favorite division. But right now it's kind of weak. But I forgot about Jaron Boots Ennis and Conor Benn. So in a recent interview, Conor Benn challenges Jaron Boots Ennis. He is saying that he could actually beat Boots Ennis. Now, Boots Ennis and Conor Benn hasn't done too much, and I do want them to fight because the fight can still be big. It has two countries going against each other, and not just that, they are both young and undefeated. And if this fight does materialize, I do not think that it's gonna happen with Matchroom. Well, it's gonna happen with Matchroom, but not over there in Europe, because Conor Benn actually got caught with PEDs in Europe. So I believe he is banned for a good amount of time. I believe it was around a year or two. I don't recall because I'm an American boxing fan. I still like European boxers, and my favorite two fighters from Europe is not Conor Benn. It's the Wrecking Ball, Nick Ball, and it's actually Daniel Dubois. Those are my two European best fighters. So that is the reason that we have Conor Benn actually fighting in America. He was fighting in Vegas, I believe, last year or in the beginning of this year. I really forgot. Like I said, I was not paying attention to it because the fight was fought at a random time to accommodate European time zone, not here in America. So a lot of us were already at work. I believe it was a weekday. I do not recall because I didn't really watch that fight, to be honest. And I'm a boxing fan, hardcore boxing fan at that. So I do believe that Conor Benn is genuine on the things that he says, and he does want to fight Boots Ennis. And no one really is calling out Boots Ennis. And I believe Boots Ennis is kind of big for 147. I think he'd still be bigger than a lot of the fighters at 154, except for Sebastian Fundora, of course. But Sebastian Fundora is way taller than anybody, even in light heavyweight. But he's just too bony and skinny. He look like a toothpick. So I do believe that Boots Ennis can beat Conor Benn, but they have not done much. I believe Boots Ennis' greatest victory was against Raymond Villa, and he was gonna fight another undefeated fighter. I forgot his name, but the other undefeated fighter had to pull out, and the fight did not happen. That's the reason that he fought a Venetian. I forgot that guy's name, but he was an undefeated fighter. Oh yeah, Crowley. He was supposed to fight Crowley, and he pulled out, so that was gonna be his biggest win yet. But other than that, it's Raymond Villa. And I personally do not believe any boxer is scared of any other boxer, because I used to box myself, and I'm still not scared of anybody. I still think I could beat everybody's butt, and I know I can't. Just because I'm not scared of anybody does not mean I'm a lose, or I'm a win, or I'm gonna beat everybody. I can very well lose, but I'm just not scared. So you know what? You do not have to be scared to get your ass beat. So I do think that genuinely Conor Benn thinks that he can beat Boots Ennis, and he is not scared of him, and as well as he should, because I really don't think Conor Benn is the most skilled fighter, but he is undefeated, and that does give you a form of confidence, because it is something to stand on. Even if you do have close fights, on record and on paper, you're still undefeated, and no man has been able to beat you yet. So that is the next best thing towards being a champion. If you're not a champion, but if you're undefeated, I think that's still something to hold on to. If not, look at Ryan Garcia and look at Edgar Berlanga. They were both undefeated and they sold very well against the other fighters, which was Gervonta Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez. And not just that, this is the sport of boxing. No clowns allowed. And this is the most hardest sport in the world. Try it out if you don't think so. But even one punch can change the whole trajectory of the whole fight. And imagine Devin Haney has an opponent that's just right there. What if Devin Haney puts all his pressure and all his power on one punch? He could pretty well knock out that opponent, even if it's like somebody like Ryan Garcia, because this is boxing and one punch can change the whole thing. I'm not saying Devin Haney can do it, but if he does, I mean, we all know how hard Devin Haney hits. Because even though if you're not a hardcore knockout power and you don't have the hardest punches, you can still knock out somebody, because if you have the right timing and the right punch, and you know this guy made a mistake, you could hurt somebody. Just look at Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao. Marquez was not the hardest puncher, but he laid out Manny Pacquiao like Mike Tyson would have hit Manny Pacquiao. That was a hard punch. But hey, guess what, champs? I ain't the biggest, I'm the freaking baddest. Subscribe.
Let's go, champ!